The union insignia, I think we had discussion last time where there was a patch issue at Fleet, and we just said left or right shoulder, doesn't matter to us.
Tom, what ended up happening with that? They get the patches?
They brought the uniforms back so we could remove the patches.
Yeah.
And as far as the new uniforms now, so the proposal is you can wear it on either shoulder, so it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, but the new patches is rectangle, so there's actually room underneath it for the union patch too.
For the same shoulder.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the Fleet director, when I talked to him, had absolutely no clue what I was talking about. I mean, he didn't know that they were even,
Tom told me the same thing.
no, I mean, he didn't know that the uniforms had been changed, so he was like, no, we didn't do anything for them, so that has to be the uniform company, so.
Order on the uniforms, the company that we're using, I did get a couple of complaints that they don't offer women's pants.
We have to wear men's pants, and we half the time they're either too small or too big because we don't know what size we are in men's pants.
Can we get some women's pants?
This company doesn't provide women's pants.
What departments specifically? I saw Gwen,
Right,
also.
and utilities.
Is that accurate in your area as well? Is it like
PCPT?
PCPT?
Well, there's a company that the Teamsters should try to order.
Yeah, they don't mark.
I'll sign you a petition.
I'm just looking at the bulletin boards here, so.
So it's a catalog that has no women's section. It's crazy.
We'll send all the
You
can compensate. Okay, Jim?
The only thing I'd say is that men's pants are generally longer, so, you know, I think
And
for
a little bit
myself,
wa-
it
and a
probably
little bit
wouldn't be a
wider.
problem.
Yeah.
you know, Yeah, well, that all depends on
Yeah, I don't.
the size that you get, they can be pretty, you know.
This is a union, this is
Okay.
any proposal. so it'll
Oh,
be in there.
yeah.
So regarding the bulletin board, the new edition of 16, just don't, we're not putting the address in there, or just make it?
What was that?
If you can put we can put the address in there if you want.
You know what, when I looked up that address online, when I typed in East Pasco Developmental Center, it came up with a different address, that's why I didn't put it in. Can somebody double check that?
Well, there's a courthouse and then there's
Yeah,
another
there's
building.
two.
Oh, maybe that's one.
Not far from the old courthouse and the new courthouse.
It's 14236 6th Street, Dade City, Florida, 33523.
One more time, please.
14236 6th Street,
And that's
Dade
what-
City,
that's what
Florida,
we're doing.
33523.
Thank you.
Our July 6th proposal, that's.
You must work there.
Yes, you can. All right, the next thing we have is on wages. Whoops, typo. Pay increases for bargaining unit employees shall be granted in the same manner as for all other non-bargaining unit employees will be implemented effective the first pay period following date of ratification. Again, the way that it's proposed right now is a 2% cost of living for any, and a 2% merit increase for those that are beyond their probationary period. And it'll be based on the score of the annual evaluations, which are occurring pretty much now. I think the evals are being done right now.
2% average.
Average, right?
Why are we hearing in the news and reading in the newspaper and seeing in I guess, stuff that's floating around, that it's just a 4% across the board?
Because the 4% was budgeted, so, but it's budgeted to be implemented as 2 plus 2, which is 4, obviously, but the 2 is
Yeah, but my
the
point is that
average.
nobody's mentioned it, at least from the county administrators, and the stuff that I've seen thus far, any reference to a merit or the fact that it's anything less than 4%.
Because because we don't budget like that, the implementation what you're reading is about the budget. And so what is being implemented is, the way that the budget gets implemented is probably not, I mean, I don't know why it's not out or anything, but it's probably because.
So this year's annual evaluations will be determined by merit?
Correct, well, half of them. There's a 2% COLA that everyone would get as long as you pass your eval. So regardless of the score, as long as it's a passing score, you get the 2% automatic plus a merit component, and the merit component is, again, an average of 2%, and that's based on the score of the evaluation.
Okay. So,
And
so
we're
that's
just-
the 2% that may make,
We already discussed that earlier in the proposal, didn't we?
Well, no, we just had a small thing under
the real-
performance.
Under
Yeah,
duration.
under duration.
Under duration, it was never.
But then there was under performance evaluation, we just kind of mentioned that.
So the reason that's tentative is that the Board of County Commissioners will not establish the budget
Right, until,
finally until the September budget hearings.
right, they could change anything up until that point.
And you're still not gonna let us re-evaluation, especially when it comes to somebody's salary,
Yes, that's true, we're not.
as of right now.
Let's not.
but what about the rating they get?
What's that?
What about the rating that they get? I mean, is that part, my understanding is that part has been, we've been able to grieve that.
You can, I think
You can have it reviewed. I think
reviewed, or
instead
you
of-
can put a
But it's not a
rebuttal in.
grievance.
Okay.
Right, it's not a grievance.
It would make no sense at all to have a third-party arbitrator come in and try to figure out what an individual employee's evaluation should be, other than to flip a coin and determine it that way and take a fee for doing that.
And it makes no sense to us.
Usually the arbitrator's fee would probably exceed the cost differential in the evaluation.
What about if the supervisor refuses to listen to the rebuttal and change his grievance just because, I mean, the evaluation, just because he has something out against you?
There's a procedure in there
There's a
right now for
procedure.
moving on to HR.
Well, and not only that, but you gotta remember, they're reviewed at multiple levels. So you have the supervisor, and then a division head, usually the department head, and an ACA. Those evals are reviewed on all kinds of levels. So. I think that's pretty much it. Well, work schedule, oh, so we added something in 42 under hours of work. This just was a concern. When an employee is required to work in substitution of another employee, and this is under Article 42, only the employee who is actually working will be treated as the paid status. In no case will two employees be paid for the same work when only one employee actually works. So it's just says two people won't be paid for doing the same shift, basically.
What if the person is receiving compensation from some other leave status? I mean, explain this to me. Why, first of all, why is there a need for it? What happened that you have a need to put this in?
Well, so for instance, if you file a grievance and say so-and-so should have been called, but this one wasn't, we're not gonna pay anyone who actually didn't work. So, well, we won't agree to pay two people for doing the exact same job.
Well, if the employer didn't screw up,
That's-
call the right person, then we wouldn't have this problem.
Well, there's different avenues for rectifying that situation, like scheduling a different shift or something, but we're not gonna pay two people, we're not gonna pay a person who didn't do anything, because quite frankly, there's no public policy in that, and I would argue that it's against statute, because I don't think we can pay them.
So there's
So.
no show-up time per se?
What does that mean?
You get called in by accident and you come in, so you don't get your show-up time?
No, if you actually worked, yes, that's
Mm.
fine, yeah. If you got called into work, that's different. We're not addressing that situation. I'm addressing a situation where so-and-so worked a shift, and someone turns around and says, oh, well, that should have been given to so-and-so. Well, they were sitting home or on a Saturday at Busch Gardens, and then all of a sudden they're getting paid because they should have been called, and that's what I'm avoiding, so. I mean, there's no public policy in paying a person for work they didn't perform, and again, I think it's goes against the Florida state statute.
Well, it's not, it doesn't go against the Florida state statute, because we have a collective bargaining agreement, and if there's a process or provision in the agreement for when somebody's supposed to have been called for an assignment, and that CBA is violated, that would be a remedy that is put into place to make up for a violation of the agreement. So,
Monetary, you mean monetary remedy.
Right,
Yeah,
and we're
well,
saying
this
there's other
deals with
remedies.
that.
Right,
So-
Yeah, this says there are none.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's right. So
Well, it
this-
doesn't say there's no
Well,
remedy, it says we're not gonna
listen,
pay someone who
we're
didn't work.
switching gears here, because, you know,
Yep.
the initial comment was made that to pay somebody in the scenario that was described, which could be a contract violation, that somehow that's a violation of state statute, it's ridiculous.
Well, I think if the Board of County Commissioners doesn't find a public purpose in paying two people to do what one person did, I think there is it could be a violation. And I agree with you, if it's in the contract, which the Board of County Commissioners would have to agree to.
When would the county pay somebody for an error?
We wouldn't.
Okay,
That's
so
our-
it's never happened?
Well,
I mean, so why even have it in there if it's never gonna happen, or never happen? Why I don't
Because-
understand the need for it.
because, quite frankly, you have indicated based on numerous times that if certain things occur, that's what's going to happen, so we're gonna make sure that that doesn't become an issue. So we're guarding against what you continue to file grievances about, because right now, there's no provision for it. We wanna make sure that the county never ends up paying two people to do the same thing.
What grievances have
Because
we filed, Barbara, on this issue?
bus transportation, the one that got filed, it was resolved because there was a
Because somebody's
Yeah.
seniority rights are violated.
well, regardless, again, the county's stance is that there's other remedies. I mean, and whether that's calling someone else in the next shift or whatever, what we're gonna not do is go back and say, oh, you four should have been called, so we're gonna pay 5 people for the same thing.
Well-
And that's not acceptable to
It
us.
wouldn't be paying 5 people for one person not being called. If 5 people filed for a claim, there's only gonna be one person's claim due at the most. So that's just.
I would agree with that, but I've heard of situations where that hasn't gone that way.
Well, it's just,
so.
even under your circumstance, your example there, John, it makes no sense to spend public dollars on somebody who hasn't worked.
Right.
Well, there's no sense in the public employer violating the rights of employees to cause that
Yes.
claim to even come to.
Well,
Right.
we don't
Well,
have to
remedy-
have,
The remedy will be, we will apologize that we're not going to pay money.
And along with the pay.
Okay,
well, no, there's other remedies that you can do. You
okay,
can say this
because I
person
have
gets
people
called
who
in
ask,
instantly or
what
whatever.
happens to the managers who don't comply with what the policies and what the contract is supposed to be? I mean, because the thing is, there are managers and supervisors who don't follow it, maybe because they're unaware, or maybe they are told not to follow it. And so, when does the manager or supervisor get,
Well, we're gonna try and avoid a situation which puts our managers in that situation, obviously, so, I mean, we're trying
okay,
to
but
avoid that.
it still happens, and that's always the source where it happens. You know, it's not coming from the staff.
Well, there's other remedies, but, you know, what I don't find as an acceptable remedy is to unjustly enrich someone who didn't do anything, and now all of a sudden could get 10 hours of pay or something when they did nothing.
Well-
I mean, the better thing to me is, okay, you should have worked Saturday, you can work Sunday instead, or Monday, or pick a day. There's other remedies,
That's
but
not a remedy.
unjust, it is
That's-
too a remedy, it
no, it's not.
absolutely is.
That's not. That's giving somebody an opportunity that they may be entitled to anyway. So
No,
if you
that-
say, well, you know what, I can let you come in on Sunday.
Well,
Well,
it-
if you're gonna have anybody work on Sunday, you would have had to call me anyway. And the fact that you didn't call me for Saturday, is no fault of my own. I wanted to come, I was ready, willing, and able to work. You never asked me to work. You have somebody else who shouldn't have been entitled to work.
All right, so you're up next.
Yep. Right, exactly, that's
You gotta
the,
pay me for what the mistake that was made.
We
My
don't
rights were
pay-
violated because we have a contract provision.
We're going to fix that.
yeah, we don't have.
No, no.
All right, okay, so that's everything on the county side, I think. Is that everything we have?
Do you have any written proposals?
You gave me written proposal last time.
And
So,
we've been-
rejected most of them.
That's true.
So, we'll see what ones that we can agree to today. We've got a caucus, see which ones we can agree to, and then find out where we are.
All right, how long do you need?
So we probably 45 minutes, we got there 11.
11 o'clock. If you wrap up earlier, just give us a call, please, upstairs.
Hey, can you one of that?
Ate it on the plane.
Yeah, downstairs is a machine.
It was screaming my name from my case.
So if you're not live,
I didn't think you were there.